What it do, Miss Paka? All right. What it do, y'all? I got a couple of words I want to say about this war with Iran, the state of Israel, and America. Now, we know Trump is always asking Iran, let's make a deal. And then he says stuff like, we've bombed thousands of sites inside of Iran. The place look like it's the Stone Age now. But if that be the case, if America had the upper hand in the war against Iran, then why is President Trump always asking Iran, let's make a deal? But Iran don't want to make a deal. So the country that doesn't want to make a deal is Iran. That means they have the upper hand. But President Trump come on TV and stuff and just tell lies. Oh, we destroyed all of their missiles, or most of them anyway, and they don't even have the capability to defend themselves. And then you hear about 2 American airplanes got shot down right after Trump said something like that. Iran shot down 2 American airplanes. So, like I mentioned before, Ms. Picard, the grace of Yah is not on this country like it used to be once upon a time. I can still remember in 1990, when there was talk that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. So President George H. Bush, he talked to Congress, then he started talking to NATO about, getting some countries to go along with America to invade Iraq. And that's when they were still in their blessings, way back in 1990. And so after Congress gave George Bush the green light, and then NATO, they came on board with it. And so they went into Iraq as a coalition of nations. And it was a mess because the Iraqi soldiers was out in the desert. They were out in the desert, nothing to hide behind like them Viet Cong had in Vietnam. They was all in the jungles. But in a desert storm, in the desert, I'm like, man, they really put a blitz on Iraq. The coalition of nations, NATO and America, they took them down. But they still had to keep troops there, to keep Saddam Hussein, in check. And then, after that president, and then eventually George H.W. Bush got in office, and he went to Congress and then went to the NATO nations, and they talked and discussed it, and they went into Iraq again. But no weapons of mass destruction were ever found. But see, Saddam Hussein had threatened to kill George H. Bush. So when his son got to be president, George H.W. Bush, when he became president, it's like, okay, we got to take care of this guy. He put an assassination hit out on my father. So that's why he was going to take care of him the second time, because of the threat that he made against his father. But anyway, that's when they were still in their blessings. And everything seemed to work right for this country and the state of Israel back then. But see, that blessing has ended 2026. And now you got a guy in office, the Most High allowed to get in office over here, Trump. And he didn't go, he bypassed Congress. He bypassed NATO. Him and Benjamin Netanyahu. And they go start bombing Iran because things didn't work out in the meeting with them and the Ayatollah that they had assassinated. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, it wasn't going to be a quick thing like they thought. And Iran is hunkered down and they ready to fight. They ready to fight. And Trump keep asking them, let's make a deal. I got a couple of short clips, y'all. And see, Yah is removing the unity of Psalm 83. So that's one of the very reasons he allowed Trump to take the seat. Because Yah is working out his purposes in this earth, Ms. Picard. You better believe that. So he's the one in control of all this. He allowed Trump, a guy with his personality, to take the seat of the presidency in the United States. Y'all knew he was going to, have no respect for Congress, no respect for NATO, no respect for America's allies. Now he's kind of in over his head. You see, Yah is using these spirits, to work out his purposes in the world against these nations. Psalm 83, to divide them. Okay? Check it out.
And could pull us out of NATO. Let's watch.
If now we have reached a point where the NATO alliance means that we can't use those bases, that in fact, that we can no longer use those bases to defend America's interests, then NATO is a one-way street. The NATO is simply about us having troops in Europe to defend Europe, but when we need their help, not their help, we're not asking them to conduct airstrikes.
Marco Rubio.
We need them to allow us to use their military bases. Their answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, over the years, trillions of dollars, and all these American forces stationed in the region? If we can only use them, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. Mm-hmm.
You see there? You see there? Division with NATO. Division. NATO don't want to help America and the state of Israel in this war against Iran. Okay? But every time the NATO nation's getting something, like Ukraine is not even a NATO nation. And the United States been pouring billions and billions and billions of dollars. Well, Joe Biden was anyway. Pouring billions and billions of dollars, giving them all kind of weapons and stuff like that. But now this country is trying to ask NATO for help, and NATO don't want to help. They say, no, that's not our war. And Trump has gone on to say, well, Ukraine, that's not our war. You see, Yah is bringing division between NATO. Here's another little clip, y'all. See, they think they're in control, but Yah got this. Yah's in control of this. Check this out.
US President Donald Trump threatened to cut weapons to Ukraine unless Europe joined a US-led military push to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the Financial Times reported, turning wartime aid into a high-stakes bargaining chip. The threat comes as Iran's shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz chokes nearly 1/5 of global oil supply, sending prices soaring. But despite the pressure, European allies initially refused to step into a direct confrontation with Iran. Trump reportedly warned he could suspend the Pearl Arms pipeline for Kiev, effectively leveraging Ukraine's war survival. Officials say this forced a rapid response, with NATO chief Mark Rutte and key allies scrambling to signal readiness to secure the route. Behind closed doors, tensions boiled over. One official described Trump as rather hysterical as he ramped up threats, going as far as suggesting the US could walk away from NATO altogether, accusing allies of abandoning Washington.
You know, we didn't have to go into Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away across the ocean. We helped them. We had a president who's a stupid individual. Gave him $350 billion, got nothing for it. Gave him so much money, used so much ammunition. We're making ammunition all over the place because we need it, because he gave so much away to Ukraine. Got nothing for it. And I sell them ammunition. You know, the European Union pays for it. What the hell, they have to do something, right? So they're good for paying for it.
With the US-Iran war intensifying, Ukraine now risks becoming collateral in a widening conflict. Analysts warn this is no longer just a regional war. It's a dangerous convergence of energy, alliances, and military power that could spiral into a global crisis.
See? A military that could spiral into a global crisis. And that's exactly what it's going to do. You see the division that NATO has with America now? And they had such unity for all the years until now. Why now? It's because they have come to the end of their blessing. And Yah is using spirits to divide them. Because as he's raising Israel back up, Yashar'al, he's raising us back up. They must come down. See, because when we came down, they had to come up. When Yah put us at the tail for not obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments, he put them at the top so we can be jealous of them. Okay, so that was accomplished. They have had their reign. Scripture says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. Well, the times of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. So that means that they're on the way down. And you look at Yashar'al worldwide, and Yah is raising us back up. Okay? But it says that we will in the lands of our captives, we will remember ourselves. In the book of Baruch, in the land of our captives, we will remember ourselves and we will turn back to him. Okay? And that's exactly what has happened. So he's giving our mother back to Ruach HaKodesh. And Israel is rising. Yashar'al is rising. And Psalm 83 is coming down. Remember that dream I told you I had, last year sometime or so, that I had a dream that my brother had, climbed on the back of this big golden lion, and I'm trying to catch him because he had asked me and our other siblings inside the house for $10, and nobody gave it to him. So he said, okay, that's all right. So he took off out the door. And I was like, man, what is $10? This is my brother. So I'm trying to catch him to give him the $10, but he running toward this lion that done landed. A big gold lion landed in an open field. And it's at nighttime in my dream. And the lion is lit up, gold light. And my brother climbed on the back of him. And I still was too far away, and the lion started rising in the air, but slowly. It rose up. And then I'm like trying to figure, what is this all about? And then the lion turned right back around and flew the way it came from. So it came from like over my head and landed in an open field. But when it rose up, it took off back in the direction that it came from as it's rising higher and higher in the sky, but slowly but surely. And then a Gentile man and a Gentile boy, they fell off the lion as my brother was still sitting up on it. And a Gentile man and a Gentile boy fell off onto the ground, and they were dead because they weren't moving. And I'm still looking at my brother on the back of this giant, humongous lion flying slowly higher and higher up in the sky. And then I woke up. And I said, Father, Yah, what was that all about? And immediately what came to my spirit, the Lion of the tribe of Judah is rising, and 83 is coming down. So that's what you see going on around the world, Mr. Pekah. Can't nobody stop it because this is Yah's doing. You might as well get your popcorn if you're Israel, Yashar'al, and get your front row seat, and be amazed at what Yah's doing, because it ain't going to be no Jacob's trouble. It's going to be trouble for Psalm 83. Yah's busting up the unity America had with NATO, and that's exactly how he going to bring them down. Eventually, they're going to destroy each other. Okay? And so we might as well just get prepared for the second Exodus, family. Miss Paka. Okay? We might well be getting ready for the second Exodus. Walking in love and unity and harmony with each other. Keeping ourselves obedient to the words of our Father, Yahuwah Elohim Almighty. Keeping that Sabbath day holy. Keeping His commandments. Honoring the statutes. Okay? And laws. And we're going to be fine. Okay? We're going to be fine. But this is just something they're going to have to deal with, Psalm 83. This is just what they got to deal with. They took the dainties and the perks when it was their time, for them to be in their blessings. Nobody gave a crap about us Negroes worldwide. Sold us. They got even more richer. Making us work sun up to sundown, our families, our people. No pay. In all kinds of weather. Okay, so it's their time to come down because Yah has allowed them to have their blessings, and their time of that blessing has ended. 2026. And Israel is slowly rising. Just like I saw that gold lion rising in the sky, but rising slowly but surely. And that's exactly what's happening to Yashar'al right now. Okay, family, so I will be bringing forth more videos, so y'all stay tuned. Until next time, one love and shalom.